It's just skin and bones, and yet the lion refuses to let go. Now that the hyenas are gone and there is only one lion, the vultures move closer. And still the lion does not give his kill away. The birds get a step too close. The jackal finds a piece of meat without the lion seeing him. The hooded vultures are relentless, but so is the lion. He scrapes the ground over the buffalo's stomach contents. All the meat is gone, but the lion still refuses to move on. The jackal gives up. It's a waiting game. But the vultures can wait all day. Finally, the lion gives up. It's time to patrol his territory, find the pride and rest through the warm hours. The vultures have the carcass to themselves. Small heads and hooked beaks reach where the predator's teeth do not. They find meat in the smallest of cavities. In 24 hours, a buffalo carcass has fed 5 different species of carnivores. The predators of the Magnoleti carve out the territories to suit their own style of living. A coalition of cheetah brothers uses an old termite mound to survey the herds that feed on the long grass. The wide-open grass plains of Tinswalu are one of their favorite hunting grounds. They mark every landmark. It's remarkable how the joint effort of scent marking allows a coalition of cheetah males to defend the best territories. The resident leopard prefers the parts of Magnoleti where bushes and trees offer the cover he needs to pass quietly and unseen. Although right now, he's not worried about his camouflage. He has a female to woo. She needs his strong genes to make healthy cubs. He needs a new progeny to continue his bloodline. The encounter is short. There is no foreplay, no games of seduction. They go their separate ways. He returns to the kill he stashed away in a tall tree, only to find an unwanted guest. The marula is a perfect leopard tree, and so is this acacia. The tall, straight trunk is impossible for scavengers to climb. The hyena's only hope is that the carcass slides off the high branches. Nose to the ground, she looks for little bits of meat, and the leopard takes this opportunity to climb the tree. Strong shoulder muscles and long, tough nails take the leopard's 90-kilogram frame into the tall tree. He's been snacking on this kill for several days. There's almost nothing left. Of all the big cats of the Manuletti, the leopard has the best advantage when it comes to feeding. Cheetah often lose their kills to the scavengers on the ground. Lions gorge themselves so they cannot eat anymore. But the leopard takes it slow. He paces himself. His kill is safe in the tree. He doesn't even have to guard it. It's out of reach of lions and hyenas. A 50-kilogram impala will last him 5 days, and he can come back to it whenever he likes, leaving plenty of time to pursue other interests. His encounter with the female is not over. Her scent still lingers in his territory. She hears him, but his calls bring her to the tree where the scent of blood lures her to the top. Even an accomplished hunter is not going to walk past a free meal without tasting some. Not much meat is left on the bone. She takes what she can and then disappears into the night. The Manuletti winter in South Africa spans over 4 months. It's a mild, dry climate with no rain. Animals and plants need to survive on what grew and what was stored during the rainy summer season. Rivers are dry. Most of the water holes have been reduced to muddy puddles. The marula tree seems dry and dead. In comparison to the abundance it offers in summer, during winter, it has almost nothing to give. Only the squirrels still have some use from it. It's their home. But they need to climb down to look for food on the ground now that the marula is bare. They use the dwarf mongoose's den as a quick bolt hole. The mongoose doesn't mind sharing. The marula's bare branches tower over smaller bushes that have enough reserve to keep a green foliage going through winter. The elephant feeds on whatever he can find. Small branches with old leaves. Dry, coarse grasses that offer very little nutrition. Anything that his fast digestive system can process for energy and any nutritional content. Buffaloes have a more efficient digestive system. By ruminating, chewing the grass a second time, the tough cellulose of the grasses is broken down even further, releasing more nutrients. The catch is that this process requires water. The Manuletti's largest waterhole does not dry up. It's a crowded place during certain times of day. Some residents, like the crocodiles, hardly ever leave. But most of the visitors don't stay for long. They're only here to quench their thirst. The buffalo's routine works almost like clockwork. They prefer to drink twice a day, morning and afternoon. It's organized confusion. Everyone gets a turn. No one will leave thirsty. Except one. Predators are not the only killers here. Disease and old age take out the weak. The death does not go unnoticed. The adults of the Tinswallow pride have been following the huge herd. But this is not going to be an easy meal. The crocodiles have laid claim to it. They tear pieces of meat underwater and swallow above water. The lions are not used to standing on the sideline, and they're not giving up yet. But this pool is crocodile territory, and they have all day and night to feed. A hyena finds the carcass. She bravely goes knee-deep in the water to get a few bites. And walks away just in time. The feast in the water continues. While the crocodiles are busy on one side, a catfish sneaks in on the other to steal a few bites. The lions watch and pace, restless and frustrated, but the carcass remains out of reach, and the crocodiles ferociously guard it. Still, the lioness weighs up her options, incredulous that this is a meal she cannot have. She turns her attention to a newcomer on the scene. The resident hippo leaves his pool to feed. He does this every night at the same time, and he is not going to change his routine tonight. He throws his bowl waits and doesn't give her opportunity to attack. The male lion returns to the water's edge. But the water is so murky that he cannot see the crocodiles below. Who knows how many there are? This is one free meal the adult lions are going to forfeit. The misty morning reveals that the youngsters that did not follow the adults to the water have had a bit of luck. With the help of their mother, they killed a young buffalo. Finally, their own kill. But they are not left to eat it in peace. For every young lion in the pride, there is an opponent equally as strong. For every young lion in the pride, there is an opponent equally as strong. The hyenas are relentless. They know the males are not around. The lioness is alone, and the youngsters are not experienced enough to stand their ground. The lioness takes her frustration out on the one animal that is intimidated by her. Eventually, the pressure of having to guard their kill against such unrelenting challenges is too much. The lions give up their meal. Yet another free meal for these opportunistic scavengers. Another free meal for these opportunistic scavengers. Spring for the marula tree arrives before the rains. The extensive root system traps and stores water and nutrients to last through the winter. It uses these reserves to bloom. Tiny, odorless, inconspicuous clusters of flowers on the tips of the branches. They're not flamboyant flowers, but attractive enough to the small insects that transfer the pollen between male and female trees. Warm spring temperatures in the Magnoletti Nature Reserve trigger the germination of leaves in the marula tree. But that's not all. Faint, rattling sounds emanate from the cocoons. What emerges now has no resemblance to the caterpillar that spun the cocoon at the end of summer. The fluffy body takes time to dry out in the moonlight. wings unravel slowly, and their tails seem to grow within minutes. Suddenly, the wings swing open to reveal a beautiful, delicate, large lunar moth. The moth has no mouthparts. Its sole purpose is to mate and lay hundreds of eggs before it finishes its fat reserves and dies of starvation. The male has huge antennae designed to pick up the female's pheromones from 100 meters away. She waits patiently for the males to arrive. Only after mating does she leave the branch where she was born to look for a suitable place to lay her eggs. The female can survive almost 10 days without eating, but the male dies soon after mating. His job is done. This moth is a superb example of camouflage. Its green wings are the same hue as marula leaves. The long tails look like leaf stems. Amazingly, these brilliant spots mimic owl eyes to ward off predators. All these traits allow the moth to go unnoticed in the tree, while she concentrates on laying the eggs that will ensure the survival of her own kind. Her life's purpose is fulfilled. The marula tree is a storybook of history, myths, and legends. It's been part of human life for over 12,000 years, providing food and medicinal remedies, and the fruits are used to produce an alcoholic traditional drink and a famous liqueur. Tales are told of intoxicated animals that have eaten fermenting marula fruits. The most entertaining myth is that of elephants acting drunk and disorderly. Recent scientific studies have dispelled this charming legend. An elephant would have to eat an enormous amount of fruit that has been fermenting in the sun for at least 3 days to reach the alcohol content needed for intoxication. But the elephant prefers fresh fruits hanging in the tree and not rotting ones lying on the ground. Furthermore, the fruit does not remain in the elephant's gut long enough to ferment. So, the tale of drunken elephants is just that, an imaginative story told to amuse the listener. The elephant has a poor digestive system. The reason it needs to eat huge quantities of food each day to assimilate enough nutrition. 60% of what it ingests is passed out undigested. The dung beetle uses this mat of partly digested grasses to build a dung ball. He does this as quickly as possible to get away from other greedy scarabs that could steal his ball. But before he can leave, he needs to find his bearings. get a clear field of view, he hops onto his ball and does a short beetle dance. He picks a direction, a straight line that will take him away from the dung pile and other beetles as quickly as possible. Once he locks onto his coordinates, nothing in his path will deter him. Remarkably, the dung beetle is the strongest animal on the planet. Its small 20-gram body can pull an object almost 1,000 times its body weight and roll a dung ball 10 times heavier than itself. When he reaches a spot of soft sand, he buries the ball. Now it's safe. The ball will be eaten slowly, or used as a brood ball by a female who will lay just one egg in a chamber she makes inside. The Manuelesi forms the canvas for one of the richest webs of life of the African savanna. It's a tough landscape, scarred by nature's games of life and death. It's a patchwork of diverse habitats that suit the personal preferences of each one of the big cats. But it's also a landscape of abundance that offers everything a herbivore could ask for. Water all year round. Vast expanses of grass plains for the grazers. And an enormous variety of shrubs and trees for the browsers. In the Manuelesi, one tree stands out above all others, a tree known as the Tree of Life, the marula. In the open savannas of southern Africa, it is a treasured tree. A tree that feeds many herbivores, from small insects cheeky primates and little rodents, to elegant antelope, and the largest land mammal on Earth. It is only fitting that such an important tree be given the legendary title, Tree of Life.
Buffaloes are some of the most aggressive and dangerous animals in Africa. They have excellent memory and are known to carry grudges, remembering their opponents by sight years after an attack. One buffalo has become separated from the herd and would make a substantial meal for the pride. First strike, a tap tackle. Lower risk than leaping on his haunches. Lioness is 7 times lighter than buffalo, but she strikes with twice the force of a heavyweight boxer. Catch him sweetly, and his own body weight will bring him down. A perfectly timed leap will pull him off balance. But buffalo is too quick. His horn catches her with a painful blow. Owning the best territory is no guarantee of success. Lions are the only animals powerful enough to hunt elephants. It's a rare behavior that's only been mastered by a few select prides. She has all her sisterhood to help, ready to work as a team to a well-executed plan. With 18 hooked claws, as strong as carbon fiber, Lioness locks on. The others position their bodies to perfection. He's off balance. Lioness has no choice but to let him go. The wily teamwork of the pride is no match for the sheer might of the elephant herd.
A fully grown, impressive bull entered the arena. The dominant bull immediately responded to his arrogance. There was no stopping him. They sized each other up. He hadn't fought an experienced bull like this before, but he had no intention of backing down. In hippo warfare, the first act was a show of armor. He blatantly claimed the territory already. A red rag to a bull. His opponent took the bait. Second thoughts. he may have overplayed his hand. The dominant bull was merciless. He tried to escape, but the dominant bull was hot on his heels. But in the face of sustained conflict, he found his courage. Once those tusks clashed, they were both in for a long battle. He was getting the upper hand, forcing his opponent to retreat towards the edge of the bank. But the dominant bull wasn't giving up that easily. Both bloodied and exhausted, the older bull eventually admitted defeat.
A hippo's yawn is not a sign of fatigue. A new rival is challenging his rule, and this time, he's up against the bulldozer. It's a clear warning. I'm dominant, and I'm angry. During the breeding season, testosterone runs high. The Don has zero tolerance for any competition on his turf. Despite their short, heavy legs, hippos can reach speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour. It's faster than any human can run. But they lack stamina. The young tarantula is no match for the dog.
Why do animals fight? Why do they compete? What moves them to risk their lives? In the answers to these questions lie the reasons for existence, the keys to the survival of every animal that inhabits the earth, from the tiniest insects to the most gargantuan mammals. With solutions as diverse as they are extraordinary, and to which all living beings on our planet must adhere, full of nuances, of actions. All this gives meaning, tension and energy to the existence of each and every being. This is the fight for life. Although the reasons are very diverse, in reality, animals, like human beings, engage in conflict chiefly for 5 reasons. One reason is to achieve power, dominance, and supremacy. Many animal species, including humans, live in complex, structured societies. In groups of varying natures, all powerful leaders make the most life-impacting decisions on everyone's behalf. The position of head of the clan is highly coveted. It usually comes with wide-ranging privileges in terms of eating, sleeping, and reproducing. Being human, baboon, or wolf is not easy. Wolves live in complex societies in which each individual must fight to achieve and maintain its position. It's a permanent and exhausting struggle. The sophistication and efficiency of wolf society has earned it the apex spot among Northern Hemisphere predators. This is how they can take down large prey such as wild boar and red deer. But once the prey has been caught, the power disputes begin. Wolves are extremely hierarchical animals. Each individual has its very specific rank, a fact that is never more clearly observed than when the pack eats. This is a pyramidal society with one absolute monarch, whose authority is rarely questioned, reigning at the top. So leaders look for allies within the pack, making clear who's in charge through a range of admonishments that include growls, snarls, and on occasions, physical altercations that may end with blood being drawn. Sometimes the most antagonistic individual, probably not well liked within the clan, ends up feeling the business end of the whole group's powerful canines. Amongst the large herbivores, the concept of dominance is gauged simply by force, and nowhere is this truer than on the African continent. More or less ritualized skirmishes decide who is the boss. African buffalo live in complex societies led by a group of dominant individuals. In order to achieve power, they must train and fight from when they are very young. The herd's future leaders will emerge from such adolescent scuffles. And so herds of African or Cape buffalo are led by a small coterie of males, all well acquainted with each other. The highest-ranking adult males lead in a kind of council of elders. This is the best way to survive a life lived at the mercy of the king of the savannah. Lion and buffalo, locked in an eternal conflict on the African plains. Two powerful societies, forever engaged in their daily struggle. And often, the buffalo, with their fearsome bands of brothers, put the lions to flight. The clan of felines knows that discretion is the better part of valor when faced with a group of herbivore leaders on the charge. In some animal societies, the battle for dominance lasts literally a lifetime. From almost the moment you're born until the day you die. This is the case of Jacma or Cape baboons. These primates form clans of dozens or even hundreds of individuals, all ruled over by one large male.